Hmm. Okay. So I went to go see Justice League tonight, and so on the way there, I'm doing a little bit of bragging, right? Because I'm feeling good about this shit. Day ahead, I get to see Justice League, right? My homie Johnny James, Brother Love, he says, you know what? Make a review video. And I'm like, should I? And here I am. Just got out of Justice League. Please forgive me. I'm uh, recording on my camera. I mean, on my phone. So just got home. Kind of want to go through through the beats, the good and the bad. And yes, there will be spoilers. A shitload of spoilers. Tons of spoilers. But the simple fact is, WB owes us one. Warner Brothers owes us one. DC owes us one. We don't owe y'all shit. Mm. So I will say this. Um, let's start with the good. Not nearly as bad as Batman versus Superman. Not nearly as bad. The drawback of that is it spent the majority of its time trying to make up for Batman versus Superman. Including one of my favorite scenes when Superman snatches Batman up and asks him very, very, very straight out with a little pet ass look on his face, "Do you bleed?" And I love the fact that they actually turned that into a comedic moment. Mm. Um, so that was kind of like a double-edged sword. Um, however, a couple of spoilers. There are no new superheroes that show up, so you can stop all that major surprise. Um, in the flashback, you get to see the lanterns get down. You very briefly get to see the Green Lanterns, far shots, and no specific Green Lantern in general. Just a few lanterns doing their thing in this whole squabble. Um, my favorite cameo slash Easter egg. Um, my favorite two heroes in Justice League, Prince and David Bowie. That is one thing that I will give them. They really bought it with that. That was a cool ass Easter egg. That was a cool ass cameo. um, as a Superman fan, let me say one thing I didn't like about it was the movie spent a little bit too much time on Superman's nuts and insisting that the world can't get along without Superman. And it's never ever supposed to be like that. Like never. Um so the mustache situation. Very noticeable, Warner Brothers. Very, very noticeable. Um, so much to the point where it kind of threw things off. Um, I will say that I'm not 100% on board with the casting. And while it was cool to see live action interpretations of these heroes, the big issue is the heroes that are being portrayed. That's not them. Um, Ben Affleck's Batman. Let's face it, that's not Batman. That's not Bruce. Man, he's trying. He's really trying in his being, and you know, Ben can do anything, but it's not working. Henry Cavill, you got the look, but whoever is writing his character is just not doing it. Um, Jason Momoa, though I'm glad he's having a lot of fun, that's not Aquaman. It's not. It's just not. It's like this fun-loving frat boy. That's about it. You know. Um, I think Wonder Gal Gadot's portrayal of Wonder Woman comes off as kind of stale and phoned in most of the time. Um, And a lot of times, one thing that kind of throws me off about it is, people are stunned by her looks. And Wonder Woman, Diana, is really not supposed to be obviously hot. She's not. So one thing I did not like about that, and speaking of character portrayal, was the Barry Allen character. I enjoyed the moments with Barry Allen and the Flash. I'm not even going to call him Barry Allen. I'm going to call him the Flash because that wasn't Barry Allen. Um, at some point in time, he referred to himself as a Jewish boy. And, you got this Jewish dude who looks not even Italian, who looks Latino. Um, and just the way that they portrayed him as a bit of a coward and just kind of off. And they really portrayed him as a beta male, which is not the case for anyone who's ever taken up the Flash mantle. Um, it wasn't Barry Allen, and it wasn't Wally West, and it wasn't a cool mix of the two. It was something totally different. And as I said, I like the movie. Um, from a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 7.5, a strong 7.5. The editing was off, and I can honestly say um, that the footage that they cut out, you're definitely missing it through the film. You are definitely missing it. This is one of the few times, even though I can't stand them, I would really like an ultimate edition on this one. I need an ultimate cut. Throw that extra hour back in there. Just to work out the kinks and have things make more sense. One performance that I actually thought um, was better than what I thought it was going to be was Cyborg. Ray Winston Cyborg, and I heard a lot of reviews saying that like he was like the weak link, and that is not the case at all. Um, he pretty much goes with the character of Cyborg. He runs with it. Um, he's a bit more serious than the Teen Titan incarnation. It's definitely more comic based. Um, and you definitely get your booyah. You get your booyah in that motherfucker. Um, and you have a lot of cool moments that you've been waiting for over the last few years that's been kind of building. One thing that I thought that I really didn't care for was the way they brought back Superman. That seemed rushed. Um, and a lot of jokes, and there was a lot of thrown in that was kind of unnecessary. There's a grave digging slash robbing scene, and the Flash just has to make it kind of awkward, you know, awkward in a cringe-worthy way. He even does this weird kind of offhanded racist thing, but not meant to be racist, but it's racist, so we kind of laugh at it. Um, he does the whole "I'm a white boy and I'm uncomfortable around black dudes" type thing with Cyborg, and which was kind of stupid because you openly say that you're Jewish and you look like a Latino. Just the weirdest shit ever. Um, However, the good parts, let me not bitch about the whole damn thing. The good parts is visually, it's off the chain. Much like Batman versus Superman, visually, it's off the chain. You get some great fight scenes. I would have to say the actual coolest fight scene was between Superman and the League. Mm. The villain Steppenwolf. It's weird because I wanted to like Steppenwolf. I dug his design, but they watered him down. And he started off as this huge force of nature, and halfway through the film, he ended up being this one trick pony. Um, so there's a lot of there's a lot of halfway here, and I think slowly but surely they're improving. One thing I will say about the visual style and the flow of it is, and I commend them on this, is they were not afraid to make it look and feel like a comic book movie. They threw that grounded shit out the door, and I kind of dig that. Um, the DC cinematic universe is not a grounded place. You can save that shit. That shit's over with. That shit's done, and I like it. Um, very cartoonish in the way they move and the way things are done. I kind of dig it. So, even the things that I don't like about it still work to a certain extent. Um, the You have the two end credit scenes, which I'll get to in a second. Is there anything else that I should really be covering here? Um, Diane Lane, my favorite incarnation of Martha Kent. Not much for her to do here. It seemed like they just kind of fit her in. They really could have just put her into like one scene and that would have been cool. Um, Lois Lane was just kind of hanging around, no real purpose. Let's see what else. Jeremy Irons as Alfred was cool. J.K. Simmons as Gordon was wasted. Like seriously, wasted. It made no sense that that was even in there or inserted. Um, yeah, so I think that covers everything about the movie pretty much that you need to know. Oh, Amber Heard as Mira is the worst thing ever about the movie. Like, oh God. She only has maybe 2 minutes of screen time, and it is the most useless and agonizing of all the scenes that you have to. If I said if I had to say there were scenes to push through, it was the whole Mira scene, and she says, "Well, you're the queen's son to Aquaman," and she says, "You know what? If the queen weren't dead, it would be her responsibility to chase dude up there and kick his ass." And then she just says, "It's your responsibility." And I'm looking like, how the fuck you figure that? I mean, you just came to that decision for me, bitch. And that's what the fuck you do. Just come to a decision for me, huh? You just decide that I'm just gonna be the one to go up and yeah. So really didn't make sense. Yeah, I really, really hope in the Ultimate Edition, they do a little bit better. The soundtrack sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's one good song on there, the Leonard Cohen cover in the beginning scenes, which is awesome. That's a good song. Mm. They use Icky Thump at the wrong time, you know. Gary Clark's Come Together is so fucking generic and by the numbers and really hard to listen to because I like Gary Clark Jr. The end credit scenes. Um, the end credit scenes, of course, everybody knows about the Flash and Superman um, racing, which, even as a Superman fan, that shit wasn't that flattering. It just wasn't. I mean, it was just like, okay. It was almost like a slight insult. Like motherfuckers really wasn't taking the shit seriously. Let's see. Oh, but the second end credit was boss as fuck. I've always said the best thing about Batman versus Superman was Lex Luthor. That's the one motherfucker they did get right was Lex Luthor. And Deathstroke was looking awesome as fuck. Okay, so that's pretty much my review of Justice League. I went to go see an early screening. Um, it was all right. It was decent. It was cool. So, but as a bonus for sitting through this tirade, because I think I probably said mostly negative shit, but I was being honest. Um, for sitting through this tirade, I will actually give you a gift. Mm. I will give you what is possibly the biggest, the baddest, the coldest, and the grooviest Star Wars spoiler, a major plot point that no one has figured out yet. Hold on to your hats. I'm not even going to go through a whole bunch of bullshit. I'm just going to say it straight out. Rey and Finn are siblings, brother and sister. Remember, you heard it here first. Rey and Finn are siblings. Mm. Everybody think it's Kylo and Rey. No. I said no. Finn and Rey are siblings. So, this has been your boy, New Wave Superman, Halo Alpha Christopher Jackson, and I have given you my spoiler-filled Justice League review, also with, at the ass end of it, the biggest Star Wars reveal that no one has got up on yet. Talk to you later. Have a good one.